What's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. It's Sunday, y'all. I hope you guys had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. You know why we're here. We're here because tonight was season 7, episode 12 of The Walking Dead. This episode is entitled Say Yes, and it was a hot and steamy episode. Okay, you guys, before we get into it, please do me a favor. If you want, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. I would love to have you um, as a subscriber to my channel. I promise you won't regret it. And go ahead and give me 2 thumbs up. I'm trying to get at least 100 likes on this video. And I would love to know what you guys thought about my content and my review recap for this show, The Walking Dead. So also leave me a comment down below, okay? Okay, so let's get into it. Now, this episode really is about several different characters from Alexandria tribe, but more than anything, this is all about Rick and Michonne and this huge sexcation that they went on in the hunt for guns. But it really, like I said, was a sexcation. So hot and steamy, you guys. Let's get into it. The show opens with Michonne and Rick. They're out in this van. They're camped out. They are going from place to place, of course, looking for the guns. You know why they need the guns. They need the guns for the Mad Max, Metal Yard people, Jadis's people wanted guns as a part of their agreement to fight with Alexandria and the Hilltop for to get rid of Negan. So they're out on the scout for guns, looking for guns, and they are every stop. They camped out. They having sex. They, killing walkers. They having sex. They have a little snack. They having sex. They talk about the next plan of action. They having sex. I mean, it's a sexcation, you guys. Apparently, obviously, these two really, really, really love each other. They really care about each other. My thing is that I'm like, Michonne, you're going to get pregnant. This is the kind of thing that pregnancy is made of, my dear. What's happening with you? What are you thinking? Like, I mean, I hope y'all have stumbled upon some condoms out there, because we don't need no more pregnant women. No, 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 no. Okay. So we see, as a part of this first scene, outside of the sex, outside of the killing the walkers, and coming upon, really, they have not come upon very much. They have a few things, like Rick said, a couple of guns, a couple of canned goods, and some jerseys. Not a lot. As they're walking, they hear someone hitting golf balls. And of course, Rick and Michonne take everything heads on. They head towards the sound. They realize it's a couple of Negan's boys out there, the saviors, are hitting golf balls. And we know this because they make a reference to Fat Joey. Well, they also, Rick and Michonne, need battery for their long range walkie talkie. Now, this walkie talkie, as you know, is a part of Negan's camp, and it allows them to hear what Negan and those are doing while they are out and about. So if they're on their way to Alexandria, they know that they need to book it back there, okay? But they need batteries for this walkie talkie. They take advantage of the fact that these two guys are out, they're drinking, they're chitter chattering, their truck is open. They hit the truck and they get battery, and for the walkie talkie they also get pretzels and beer. So that was a funny little moment. We see through this whole journey with Rick and Michonne that they're having fun. They're acting like two teenagers in love. They like Bonnie and Clyde on the road. So this was a good little opening scene. We see that Michonne wants to go back. She wants to err on the side of caution. But Rick is having fun, man. Rick is having a good time. He is enjoying, you know what I'm saying? Getting laid, getting paid, you know what I'm saying? No responsibilities. Uh, uh, Let's take it more. Let's take it on day and a half more, 2 days more. Let's do this. Let's ride out. You know what I'm saying? And she's so in love. She like, okay, Rick, I'll do whatever you say. Like she is full on spitting, full on. We see Rosita talking to about Tara about, you know, um, her feelings, the scar on her face, wanting to fight, not wanting to wait around. Like Rosita is seriously on one. I felt very sympathetic to Rosita the first few episodes of this second half of this season, but now I'm getting to the point where I'm pissed off with Rosita because she can't see the forest for the trees, and she doesn't understand that this whole half-cocked ass attitude that she has is gonna get her killed. um, Tara talks to her really kindly, very empathetically about the scar on her face, removing the stitches, the things that they're all going through. It still ends with Rosita saying, I'm going to get some guns. You know, she's she's out of control. She's one of those people that, I mean, at this point we need to cut our losses with Rosita because she's gonna get somebody killed. Mostly herself, but we're gonna talk about that too. So then we go back to Michonne and Rick. Like I said, this most of this episode was about Michonne and Rick and this sexcation they were on. We see that Michonne hears something. She thinks she spotted a deer. A deer would be huge for them because it would be a massive meat stockpile. Having this amount of meat to take back to the camp would mean that they would eat for a while. Plus, this is something else they could possibly, in terms of food, give to the saviors to appease them and get them out of their camp. So a deer would be a prized possession. So um she thinks it's a deer and Rick is all down for it. Um we see when this scene happens, she's driving along, I think, and he's napping or sleeping or something, and she wakes him up, tells him it's a deer. He wants to help with getting the deer because he lost her a deer once before, so this would be his chance to make up for that and help kill this deer. Um so as they're looking for the deer, they look up and they see, through the trees, there is something there, a gate or something. And so they go over to this gate and they see Rick hits the gate, tank, 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 tank. Walker walks up and he's got a gun strapped to his back. And Rick looks at Michonne and it's like, pay dirt, pay dirt. They realize that this is some kind of fairground slash military camp. So we don't know if all of this stuff broke out during the fair, if walkers were in the fair, and or if the military came in and used the fairgrounds as a camp, and then they were invaded because as they travel on further into the compound, they realize when they first enter in, Michonne looks around and there's a lot of walkers, a ton of walkers. It's gated in. Um, and she realizes something terrible happened in this spot. Now, what happened, we don't know. Like I said, we don't know if they were fairgoers, if this was a fair that had walkers in it, and then the military came in, and then something went awry, and the military got consumed by the walkers or taken over, infected, whatever. There were a lot of shell casings on the ground, but most of the walkers that were soldiers still had the guns on their back. Now, they realized this because they have got up on the roof to get a better view and see that soldiers have the guns on their back. They're trying to surmise what is happening here. And they realize as they're counting out, look, there's a ton of guns out here. There's a ton of loot to be had in this spot. Now remember, it's just Michonne and Rick, okay? And they're raging hormones. And Michonne uses her rifle to shoot from a great far off distance a milk bottle in one of the carnival games. And we realize at this point the game is on, because as you guys know, Michonne's been practicing her shooting because all she's used to using is a sword. But we see now, Mama's got a gun. Okay, the homecoming queen has got a Mickey freaky gun, y'all, and she knows how to use it. At this moment, we see Rick and Michonne fall through the roof of this building. I was so pissed off about this because I'm just like, go back to camp, get your people, come back and do this thing right. We're seeing a lot of half-cocked people and it's pissing me off, but we're going to get back to this. Let's leave this, gut-wrenching moment where they fall through the roof for a second and go back to freaking Rosita. Oh, I have had it with her. And Rosita is out and about being hard-headed. She's looking for guns, and she comes across this homestead, this house. She sees a gun in the doorway. You know what I'm saying? Stupid. And she's going to go and reach for the gun, and there's this walker there. And, she kills the walker, gets the gun, and she realizes the gun is a toy gun. She's pissed off. She's, super, super pissed off. And we see that she takes this attitude, she takes this anger that she has with having found nothing and takes it back to the preacher man. Gets into the church, she sees the preacher man, she lets him have it. She blames him for everything. If you hadn't talked me out of this, if you hadn't, I had a gun, I had an opportunity to kill Negan. And if you had not, talked with me and convicted me and made me feel as though I was doing something that I shouldn't be doing or wrong, we would have never gone through this. I could have saved some people. And he just lets her know, listen, all that's going to happen is people were going to die. You were out of order. More importantly, you were going to die and lose the opportunity to do things right from the very beginning. Your death, you going out half-cocked and getting yourself killed, ultimately at the end is a loss for everyone, including yourself. Of course, she's not hearing that. Right now, we know Rosita is not hearing anything. So we see now Rick and Michonne have fallen through this roof. They're inside. They're laughing hysterically because they're just having a good old time. As long as they're together, they don't care. I mean, they could have fleas and ticks and army ants crawling up their butts, but as long as they're together, I mean, it's all fair in love, right? Freaking war. So they look around in this place that they've fallen into, and they realize that there's tons of food. It's been military occupied because a lot of the food is in those green military packs, like what they take on the road to make their food with hot water, that type of thing. And Rick and Michonne realize they've hit the pay dirt. There's tons of water. There's tons of bottled water still in the cases, all of this. And they sit down and have a lovely dinner together. They've lit candles. They've made some different little meals. They're drinking warm beer. They're chit-chatting. They're talking. Michonne is full on in this thing. Like, she is starry-eyed to death. She is googly-eyed. And I have to say, so is Rick. But Rick, Michonne is saying, hey, once we get rid of Negan, all of our camps are going to need a really, really good, strong leader. And I think that really, really good, strong leader is you. Well, when she says this, he says, I'm not really interested in leading nobody. I mean, why would he be? I'm not interested in the responsibility. I'm not interested in the stress. But what I am interested in is in this love thing that me and you got going on. We got a thing going on. Both know that it's wrong. Okay, he is he says it, that is if you want to do it. If you do, say you do. And she says, I do want to do this thing. I want me and you to do this thing. And this thing we got going on, I'm all about this. And they have a kissy lovey-dovey moment, and she talks about, once again, about heading back, and he keeps wanting to forge ahead. So we see them once again enter into this moment where they are connecting the parts, the male female parts. You know what I'm saying? It's all romantic, okay? It's all romantical. I'm enjoying this side of Rick and Michonne, but at the same time, I'm like this because it's a lot of walkers out there and it ain't but two of them. All right, so um, after they find this jackpot, then we see Rosita, like I said, talking to the preacher. We talked about that already. And we get back to Rick and um, Michonne pigging out, discussing their plans. We see Tara. Oh, Tara. Tara is talking to baby Judith. Finally, baby Judith grows up. Thank goodness. I felt like she was a whiny, crying arm baby for so long. Now she seems to be more on the toddler side, and I'm so glad about that, you guys. I was over her being a small baby. Um, and she's talking to her about what should she do. What should she do about the Oceanside people? She knows that they have guns. All they're trying to do is protect themselves. They really should join them in the fight against Negan. But they're gonna shoot them on sight the minute they walk up onto the property. So they won't even have a chance to talk about it. Don't they have a right to live too? But don't we? Ultimately, we've got to sacrifice in order for the greater good of everyone. She's just so in such a conundrum about what to do about the Oceanside people. Now, let me just get my take on this. Me personally, I don't think I would say anything. I just don't. I don't think I would say anything because at the end of the day, she gave her word. I feel like that supersedes everything in my book. So yeah, Tara, get over it. Do not put all those people in jeopardy. Do not put your own people in jeopardy because you already know Oceanside is all about them guns. Okay? But on the other hand, they do have a lot of guns. And they're gonna need a lot more guns. Let's forge ahead. So Michonne and Rick formulate a plan. They're having fun. I mean, it's all cutesy and fun. We're about to chop some walkers up. There's no reason we can't rub noses like Eskimos, you know what I'm saying, and wink at each other and smile at each other longingly. So let's do that and start the killing. That's what they do. They start the killing. They formulate a plan. You know, she's whacking them, whacking them, whacking them, killing them. He goes over to a car because they realize there's a point in this fairground, although it's completely gated, there's an opening. And in that opening, they need to close that opening up so that they can trap the walkers that are in there. The walkers that are on the outside, they can keep them out instead of having them come in and keep, getting greater numbers inside. So he's going to use this car to block the hole up, but there's a walker stuck in it. He goes back and forth with this whole walker, pulls his leg off, pulls his waist, it's the lower half of his body off. Finally, he gets the top half of the walker off. He gets the car in neutral, gets to push the car, and Michonne has killed all her people in the time it has taken to deal with this one walker, which is stuck in the windshield of the car. She comes over like the true superwoman black girl rock that she is to help him now push this car into this space to block in the process hole. Of doing this, she's pushing, he's steering. There's a soldier walker that walks into this truck with all this rebarb. And with this rebarb, somehow it triggers the gun that he's carrying and it starts accidentally shooting at Michonne and Rick on accident. So she's got to get low, but still help Rick. She hears Rick screaming. There's no brakes. She jumps into the trunk of the car. They both roll outside the gate and they are surrounded. Trunk, back windows, back doors, front windows, front doors, hood, surrounded. The worst position a person can be in when it comes to walkers is being trapped in somewhere, because unless you have a distraction, walkers are the pits. So we see that Michonne and Rick, true freaking survivors. Like, they both go hard. They both have been at this game a long time, and they both know how to truly, truly, truly survive. So they get out of the car, they get on the hood of the car, they leap over a gate, they make a plan again. You want to just do it right here? It's like stand here behind this gate and chop these walkers down? Sounds like a plan to me. Let's do it. Get the chopping, waggity, waggity, waggity. And they realize the gate won't hold. So they make another plan. I mean, they're a team, okay? Simpatico. um you go over to the slide that's gated in. You get the choppity choppity over there. I'll take the Ferris wheel gated in. I'll choppity choppity over there. Okay, he has an axe, she has her sword. They split up, they go do what they gotta do. Rick is supposed to be choppity choppity choppity. Michonne is cutting them down, she's whacking them down, she's doing her thing, black girls rock. Rick sees a deer. He sees something. Climbs up on the Ferris wheel. You know what I'm saying? Leave the plane. You're leaving the plane. Somebody always gets hurt when you leave the plane. Ugh. It drives me crazy. Stick to the plan. Climbs up on the Ferris wheel. He sees the deer. There's walkers coming towards the deer, and he realizes that these walkers are going to get to this deer even if he shoots and kills this deer. The walkers are going to get this deer and they are going to devour this deer and make this deer meat like null and void. In this process, he falls. Rick, Michonne, who sees that he has fallen and who is smitten, she has given him her class ring and her heart to boot. She sees him fall. Rick runs over, fights through the walkers, runs over, gets over there, and sees the walkers on top of something, eating and she thinks it's Rick. Now, Rick has shot his way out. She's heard him shooting on the way over there and shooting. The shooting stops because he doesn't have any more bullets. So this is all that she has. She sees the fall, she hears the shots, she hears the gun click because he's out, and she gets there and she sees that the walkers are obviously eating something. She thinks it's Rick. She drops her sword. When she drops her sword, one of the walkers who's eating something looks up and comes towards her because there's fresh meat, and she has dropped it, and she is broken, she is shattered, she is stunned, her brain is frozen up. I mean, she can't imagine. She spent the last few days with this guy, she loves this guy, she wants to be with this guy, this her baby daddy, you know what I'm saying, this her boo thing. Oh no, he's dead. And Rick, I mean, this is what love stories are made of, right? Busts out of some little contraption he had fixed himself in because he was hiding from these walkers. We realize now that the walkers are actually eating the deer. He comes, he grabs up Michonne's sword from the ground. He sees that the walkers are approaching her. He whacks a couple, and then Michonne! And she looks up and he throws the sword over the crowd of walkers, and she catches it and she snaps out of it and she whacks, kills the walkers that are approaching her. They are all dead. They are all slain now by her sword. And she sees Rick, and that is her boo, and he is alive. And she jumps into his arms, and I thought she was dead. I didn't even know. Like I said, this is what a love story is made of. I mean, this is what it's all about. It's about whacking and thwacking and six packing. So they finish all the killing they need to do, and we see them loading up, going to each dead walker, taking the guns off their back, taking whatever they can get, loading up all the food. They load this van up. Rick has a moment to see Michonne afar off, and he sees that she's in this moment of sadness, and he's puzzled. So they are on a drive back, and she's looking out the window. She is just, she's dazed. She's far off. He starts talking to her about the fact that he hasn't been sleeping, that he's had anxiety ever since Glenn was killed, because Glenn saved his life, but he couldn't save Glenn. And he has really struggled with everything that happened in this first part of this season, all the killing, all the murdering. But the fact that He couldn't save Glenn. Has haunted him, you know, up until the today, I mean, even until today. And she says, Rick, if I had lost you, I don't know what I'll do if I lose you. He said, you gonna go on. Oh, it was a point. It was a powerful moment. It was a powerful moment. You gonna go on. If you lose me, you're here to fight. If I lose you, I'm here to fight. It's inevitable. We are going to lose people. We may even lose ourselves, separately or together. But everyone, no matter who is lost, we all must forge ahead. It is tragic, it is sad, it is not fair. But for the ones that are left behind, we must continue to fight and go on. If I die, you're going to be all right. And if you die, I'm going to be all right. But our goal is to fight and beat this thing. It was a good moment, you guys. I really, really enjoyed that. And so, um, we see after this moment, Rick and Michonne are in front of Jadis at the Mad Max Metal Yard, and we see that the conversation they're having is that they've gotten 63 guns, but it's not enough, says Jadis. Not enough, we need more. They're like, what? It's 63 guns. Still not enough. We need double this, more than this. Okay, that's fine. But he tells her, hey, listen, you're going to have to give us 10 of the guns back in order for us to go out and get some more. And she said, no, we'll give you 5 of the guns. He said 6. She says 9. No, he says 10, and she says 6. And he says 10. She says 9. She says you can have get 10 and the cat back. She want the meta cat that they took the first time they got together. So he says to her, 20 guns, and I get to keep the cat. Say yes. She says yes. So that's their little dance they did. Whoop whoop de doo. These Jadis people, these Mad Max Metal Yard people are not to be trusted. I don't care what anybody says. Whatever's going on with them is some old otherworldly stuff. And it's crazy. So, that was a crazy scene. Rosita is off the rails, you guys. She's upset. She didn't even like the way that whole thing went down with Jadis at the Mad Max Metal Yard. And she's feeling some type of way. So we see that Tara comes out on the front porch. She's going to see Rick. She wants to see Rick. Rick is looking for Rosita. Have you seen Rosita? I haven't seen her since yesterday. And she says, I don't know what's going on with her. I saw her packing a bag, such and such. He says, hey, well, what were you looking for me for? And she says, I got something I got to tell you. Now, we all know this is about the Oceanside people. So we leave that moment and we see freaking Rosita going over to Abraham's site. When she gets there, she sees Sasha. Okay, Sasha's like, give me a minute to wrap it up. I'm leaving. And she's like, I'm not even here about that. I'm here to see you. And in that moment, they look at each other. She's got this huge pack on that she's, put together. And Sasha says, no problem. I'm in. I get to take the shot, though. Okay. So Rosita's glad to hear this. And she pulls out a gun, says, this is a gun that we've got. I know his camp backwards and forwards on the inside. I've heard it over and over again. I've memorized it from conversation. And Sasha says, yeah, I know what the outside layout is like because white Jesus told me. And so they make this plan. Sasha lets her know, you know what this means. We can't let them take us alive. And this means if we're going to do this, it means that we both have agreed that one or both of us will die. Um, so, but our goal is to take him out first. And Rosita was like, "Bam, I thought you knew." Okay. So, this is how the episode ends. I do not know if um what we've seen in the next episode is indicative of how the rest of this season is going to go, but it's about to get crazy. We only think it's been crazy up until this point. It's about to get full on, okay? Full freaking on. All right. Not sure how many more episodes are left in the rest of this season, but you guys prepare yourselves, buckle in. It's going to be a real bumpy ride, okay? So I got a couple of questions for you. What do you guys think about Rosita and her half-cocked ass attitude and this half-cocked ass plan that she's got with Sasha to go in and screw up everything Rick is working so hard for? What do you guys think about that? What about Michonne and Rick on their sexcation, you guys? What is going on with them? Like, they are full on in love. I mean, it's cute in a way, but at the same time, it seems kind of weird. I mean, to me, that I don't know. Anyway, obviously, I err on the side of caution. And how do you guys feel about the fairground military camp scene? What do you guys think about that? That was pretty cool, right? It was a lot of Michonne action. Like I said, the girl is bad. All right, there's no other way around that. You guys, that's it for me. Thanks, you guys, for watching. I really appreciate it. Please remember to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button down below. Okay, we do this every Sunday. Also, give me a thumbs up. I would love to have some at least 100 thumbs up on this video. And also, leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you guys thought of this episode, okay? Do you also have stars in your eyes and love for love? Okay, you guys, until next time, I'll holla.